Hi yogis, my name is Ahu. Today I am going to do a short sequence, probably about 25 to 30 minute sequence for you on tech neck. So I think a lot of us are spending a lot of time on our computers, on our phones, so we're feeling some tightness in our shoulders, tightness in our necks. So this sequence is going to kind of get into those areas, target those areas. I am in my home, as you can imagine. So that's why I have my assistant. This is Dynamite. He's going to be hanging out with us today. Say hi, Dynamite. I have a couple of homemade props that you can pause the video and grab if you like. So I have a towel, just any towel. We're going to use this to get into the arms. And then I have 2 books. So I just have 2 equal sized books. We're going to use these as blocks. Doesn't matter which books they are as long as you don't mind putting your elbows on them. So let's get started. I'm going to first rescue my So let's get started. Let's go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position. Try to ensure that your knees drop below your hips. If that's not possible, you can actually grab a pillow and sit on that. That'll raise your hips up and see my knees immediately dropped down to the earth if you would like. But just for this moment, come into a comfortable seat. You can come into a half lotus, you can come into full lotus, you can come in just to a comfortable seated position. Whatever feels good in your body. Ensure that your spine is nice and long. Tuck your chin back towards your chest. The crown of the head is neutral. Take a nice deep inhale in. As the breath moves in, move the arms up and overhead. Palms touch up. Gaze up towards your fingertips. Exhale. Hands slide down, center line of the body. Inhale. Gaze is up. Exhale. Hands down the center line of the body. Again, inhaling. Nice full deep inhale in. Exhale. Hands to the center line of the body. One more time. Inhaling. Arms up and overhead. Gazing up towards the fingertips. Exhaling. Hands down, center line of the body. Good. So take a moment. See how that feels. And then when you're ready, you're just going to drop your left hand to the mat. You can also drop your hand to a block if the hand just doesn't feel comfortable reaching. You can drop it to your book or your block. And then you're going to extend your right arm overhead, and you're going to try and catch your fingers with your eyes. So gazing up at the fingertips, lifting nice and long. Even though you're bending here, you're still lengthening through that side body. So inhaling, exhaling, and then release that down. Come to the other side. Arm overhead. Excellent. Move through this, breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Let's see if we can't move through this 3 times on your own. And then one more time on the left side. Really extending through that side body. Gaze is up. Great. Good. Take a moment, see how that feels. You can roll out your shoulders. You might start to feel some opening in the front of the chest, in the neck, shoulders, back of the neck. Great. Now, we're just going to simply cross our arms over our chest here. Doesn't matter which direction, we're actually going to do both sides. So you're just going to try and grab onto your shoulders as much as you possibly can. If you need to grab onto the tops of the arms, the upper arms, you can do that too. And then we're just going to fold the head down. And breathe here a few times, lengthening the back of the neck. Breathing into this. Release that. Extend the arms out to the side, and then you're just going to drop your fingertips down to the earth. And then drop your head again. And then really bring your shoulder blades together here. So pressing the chest forward, press the shoulder blades towards one another, dropping the fingertips towards the earth. Release that, come to the other side. So folding the arms in and then clasping wherever it feels good for you. So you can clasp the tops of the arms, you can clasp the tips of the shoulders, and then dropping everything down, releasing that again, and then breathing into this again. Release that stretch. Extend the arms out to the side again. Press the shoulder blades towards one another. Chest comes forward. This time bring the fingertips up as if you're pressing on an invisible wall. As if you're standing between two panes of glass or two walls and you're pressing into them. So bring the fingers together. Fingertips rise up towards the sky. You'll really feel that in the forearms. It's a really nice forearm stretch. Release that down. Bring your hands to your knees, roll out your shoulders, sense how that feels. And then now still seated nice and tall, shoulder blades towards one another, lifting up. We're just going to do very gentle, simple turning of the head side to side. So let's start to the left. So just turn your head to the left. Keep your head, your crown of the head neutral, and keep your head in one line. And just hold here. The more you press your chest forward, the deeper that you're going to feel this stretch in this side neck here. Release that side. Rotate your head through slowly. Come to the other side. Lift up nice and tall as you rotate your head to the other side. Come back through to each side one more time. So rotating to the left. Rotate to the right. Now with any of these postures that are based around the neck and the shoulders, you want to take it easy. Sometimes you can feel a little nauseous as you release a lot of the tension and a lot of the stress that we build up. Most of us sit here, we are on our phones, we sit here, we sit on our computers, so we really hunch our shoulders up. When you start to actively release them away from the ears and you move into some of these opening postures, sometimes you can feel just a little nauseous. Just make sure to drink water at the end of this practice. You can drink water throughout the practice. Breathe through each postures and take breaks as you need. This time we're going to take our right hand out to the side. We're going to walk it out to the side. We're going to tent our fingers on the mat. So you're just going to create a nice little tent with those fingers. And then you're just going to drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. So you feel a really nice lengthening through this right arm here. And just hold. Breathe into this. This is kind of an intense stretch. Really breathe in. The more you drop that ear towards the shoulder, the more that you'll feel into this stretch. And then right from where you are, just tilt your chin down towards your left knee. So we're just moving into a different part of the neck, so just activating different muscles of the neck here. Very gentle, delicate muscles of the neck. Breathing here, release that out, let it go, roll it out. And then I'm just going to move the book off to the side, and we're going to come to the other side. First, let's pet our little puppy, if your puppy has joined you on your mat. The reason I'm kind of doing it in this environment is because I want us to feel that our homes are possibly chaotic in this time, and that's okay. Like, just work with what you got, all right? If you have a dog sleeping on your mat, that's fine. If you have noise around you, that's fine. Just find that stillness, find the calm wherever you are. All right, so go ahead and extend your left hand outside, fingertips to in that tent shape again, extending that arm out, and then drop that right ear to the right shoulder, extending nice and long through that left arm. And then closing the eyes, breathe into this. So take your time with any of these postures. You can always press pause on the video and hold. You can always come back and do any of these postures again. Whatever feels good for you in your body in this time. So you could just close your eyes if that feels good. Breathing into this. And then again, you'll start to move your chin towards your right knee this time. So just shifting slightly the angle of the neck or the angle of the head to activate different muscles of the neck. You'll feel that nice deep release all around the shoulders, the forearms, the arms. Good. Let that go. Roll it out. Shake it out. Okay. So for our next posture, we're actually going to flow through this. I'll show you the flow quickly. You're going to clasp your hands. You're going to bring them behind your head. Elbows come together as you drop your head towards your chin. We're going to breathe in and open elbows wide as we gaze up towards the sky. And then we're going to release the stretch and we're going to clasp our hands. This is where if you have your towel, you can actually leave that behind you and you can clasp your towel. And so with this, it's okay if you can't clasp your hands. That's completely fine. That's why we have our towel. But the main thing I don't want to see is shoulders coming up as the towel comes up. So shoulders drop away, shoulder blades move towards one another as you lift that towel up. Away from you, straightening through the arms as much as possible, lift as much as possible. So really feel that nice deep stretch. Release that, just drop the towel where it is. Bring your arms, clasp them behind your head, drop your head towards the earth, elbows towards one another. Really feel that lengthening in the back of the neck, tucking in, exhaling, releasing. As the breath moves in, press the elbows back, the head presses back, gazes up towards the sky, or up towards the horizon really, as the elbows press away from you, shoulder blades press towards one another. Release that, hands behind you, find your towel, drop your shoulders away, lift your arms up. See if this time you can't lift your arms higher than last time. Release that stretch one more time. Hands behind the head, tuck in. Elbows towards one another. Feel that lengthening in the back of the neck. Breathing here. Open the chest up. So open the elbows up, open the chest up, gaze up towards the horizon. Breathing, letting go, grabbing your towel, or perhaps this time you'd like to try to clasp the hands behind you. Same thing applies. Shoulders drop away, arms lift up. So you see them lifting up here, right? You press the shoulder blades towards one another, activating the area. Release, and then let's just roll it out. Shake it out. That might have been a little bit intense of a pose, and that's fine. So coming back into center, we're going to come into a breathing practice that you may actually know. We're not actually going to take the breathing practice, but we're going to come into the arms of the breathing practice. So it's for a Bikram yoga class. They start the class out with a breathing where you clasp your hands, you bring your forearms together, elbows together, and you tuck your hands right underneath your chin And then you level out your chin. So the crown of the head is neutral, the chin is neutral. And you're just kind of nestled in right there. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to do the entire breathing practice. We're just going to open the elbows. We're going to keep the head neutral, and we're just going to open the elbows up. So it's kind of how you would start this breathing practice in a Bikram class, but we're not going to that space. All we're doing is just opening up the triceps here, opening up, and then as the elbows lift up towards the sky, you actually still want to maintain the shoulders dropping away from the ears. You always want to drop shoulders away from the ears. So really lengthen. See if you can't breathe through this. See if you can't bring the elbows closer towards one another as they lift up towards the sky. And 3, 2, 1. Release that stretch. Again, a little bit intense. Let that go. So as we move just a little deeper, and then again, you go where you need to go. So take your arms out to the side. The right arm crosses under the left arm, right? So if you just want to do backs of the hands together, that's fine, right? So the elbows lift up, the shoulders drop away, the spine is long and straight. If you want to move into the posture completely, the same applies. Right arm under left arm, and then you will wrap tricep over bicep, and then rotate so that palms touch, right? And then I'm going to just turn to the side a little bit here. As you lift the arms up, as you lift the elbows up, you drop the shoulders away from you. See how that looks? So lift and then rotate so that your palms face forward. Elbows lift, shoulders drop away. My daughter's coming down the stairs. Remember what I said about keeping it real. Shoulders drop away. Press your chest forward, shoulder blades lift up towards one another. Spine is long and straight. Chin is neutral. Crown of the head is neutral. Breathe. This is a really intense stretch. And again, if you can't place palms on top of one another, you can just do backs of the hands. That's fine too. And then release that stretch. Let that one go. Good. So we'll come to the other side, and now we'll turn to the other side. See, puppy fell asleep. She's doing really well. So again, left arm this time comes underneath right arm. Cross, so then you're crossing your right tricep over your left bicep. And then again, you can do backs of the hands if that's good. Otherwise, you're going to come into that rotation, and then you're going to cross palm over palm. Elbows lift up as the shoulders drop away. And then breathe. Hold here. Breathing. Holding. Good. Lift up. The more you lift your elbows up, the more you drop your shoulders away, the deeper stretch you will feel here. And just hold and breathe. Great. Looking good. And then let that go. So we're going to move into a different pose now. So we're going to come into a tabletop pose. We're actually going to do a thread the needle. So if you're not familiar with that, you basically just thread one arm underneath the other. So I'm going to start here on my left side so that you can see. We come into a tabletop position as such. So you lift your left arm out to the side, and then you're just going to thread it right underneath the right arm here, and then you can extend your right arm overhead. So your hips will always stay stacked over your knees, and the tops of the feet are always on the earth. Press the big toenail of each toe into the mat to kind of alleviate some of that strain on the knees. If you can extend your arm overhead if you like. If you want to get a little deeper of a stretch in that right shoulder, bring the arm behind you and start to roll onto that left ear if you can. And just be here and breathe. We're just going to hold this pose right here. To release the stretch, bring the right hand down, lift up, slide that left arm out, and then just rock side to side for a moment. And then we're gonna come to the other side. I'm actually gonna spin the other way on my mat so that you can see me. So again, hands down, right arm out to the side, and you're gonna thread that through the left arm. And then choose where you'd like to go with your left hand. You can bring it overhead. Remember, keep hips stacked over the knees. Extend it overhead. Or if you like, you can bring that arm behind you and then roll onto your right ear. Gaze up towards the sky, up towards the ceiling. So the back of the right hand is on the mat. Your palm is facing up. And then again, just be here. Breathe. To come out of the stretch, release the left hand down, lift up, press both hands into the mat, and then just be here side to side for a moment. Great. Then we're going to come into our child's pose. So this is where you're going to need your books. So what do I have? I have Foucault's Pendulum, and then I have Warren Buffett's Snowball. So thanks to them, Umberto Eco and Warren Buffett for letting me use their books. So coming into a child's pose using blocks or books, right? So the way that's going to look is you're just going to place your books side by side, and then you're going to come to back to your tabletop position, and you're going to sit back on your heels. You can open your knees out to the side, toes together for this child's pose. So the elbows are actually going to go right on top of the books, and your hands are going to come overhead. So I'll show you what that looks like. And you may need to adjust a little bit. So elbow, elbow, hands overhead, and then you just drop your forehead to the mat, creating that nice opening stretch like that. Okay? And then release that stretch coming up, and take your books, slide them out away from you. This time you will place your wrists, your hands right on those books, and you're going to come into the same postures. Staying seated in that child's pose. The hands come to the book, and you're going to extend nice and long, drop your forehead to the mat again. And then coming out of the stretch, lifting up, coming back into a seated position for just a moment. You want to move the books off to the side. So just for a moment, I'm going to face away from the camera. I'm going to come lying down onto my belly. And then again, I'm going to extend my right arm out to the side. Palm faces down, and the wrist is in line with the shoulder. And then I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to press it into the mat, and I'm going to roll onto my side body. So the right arm comes out. Left hand presses here, and then I just roll onto
my side. If it doesn't, you can bend your knee and bring that to the mat. If that doesn't feel good, just extend that leg nice and long. If it does feel good, bring the foot either in front or behind. For me, it's more comfortable behind. And then really make sure that your arm is a straight line, your right arm is straight line out from the body for this moment. So there are many ways to go deeper into this posture if you would like. You can shift your hips and bring both feet to the mat if that feels good. And then the third, which you can't see me, is you can actually clasp your hands behind you. And you can't really see me doing this in the video, but my hands are clasped and both arms are extended long. And you want to try and drop your hands to the mat if possible. So this is a really intense stretch. Again, it's one that you can hold as long as you need. You can come out, take breaks, and just hold for 2 more deep inhales and exhales. And then when you're ready, you're going to use that left hand to just bring you back down onto the mat. Try not to kick your puppy.
And then bring yourself up. And just for a moment, come into those Sphinx arms. So your elbows drop directly underneath your shoulders. Your tops of the feet press into the mat. Your gaze is forward. Drop your head slightly towards your chest. Just lengthen out the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, you're going to come to the other side. I'm actually going to flip around so that I can still face you. So again, this time we're doing the left arm. Left arm comes right out, straight line from the shoulder. The right hand presses into the mat. And then you roll onto the side body, either keeping both legs down or bringing one foot behind. Or if it feels good for you, bring both feet to the mat. Lift your knees up. And then that final is where you would clasp hands behind you. Great. And you always find that one side is tighter than the other. This is my tight side. And then just close the eyes and breathe. Breathe into that space. Remember that this is a really deep stretch. So move it slowly into this. Take breaks. You might find that some days you can come into this easier than other days. It just depends on what's going on in your life. How much time you've spent sitting on your computer. How much time you've spent with your body open, with your body closed, how much mobility we have throughout the day. These are all things that just change our yoga posture every time we come to the mat. The emotional state, the mental state, the physical state. And then release out of this. Slowly drop your knees down, roll onto your belly, come back into that Sphinx pose. So elbows drop right underneath the shoulders. Press your chest forward as you drop your shoulders and drop your head. So drop your shoulders away from your ears as you drop your chin towards your chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And there you go. From here you can take a Shavasana if you like. You can actually just lie straight down on your belly and come into a resting pose that way. I recommend that you do either of those before you start back to your day, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you feel a little more open in the shoulders, a little more open in the neck. And thank you for practicing with me. We managed to put Puppy to sleep, so that's good. And come back to this video as many times as you would like. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.